Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We put a disclaimer in the description of all of our videos explaining that they're for entertainment purposes only and not to do the things that we do and so on. And that's fine. But today we're going to go a wee bit crazy. And so I thought it was important that we give you a verbal disclaimer as well. So we have no formal education in tool and cutter grinding or grinding of any kind for that matter. We don't have any certificates or licenses, or we're not part of any organization. I think it's safe to say, based on that you should not do anything that we do. Also, today we're purposely doing something destructive, which is inherently dangerous on its own. And so another reason for you not to do what we're doing, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Let's break some stuff.
Yeah. So now that our disclaimer's out of the way, I'll explain very briefly a little bit about our history. We've been doing tool and cutter grinding for over 30 years now, and for much of that time, it's been our full-time job. And I think it's safe to say that we easily have 40,000 plus hours of tool and cutter grinding experience. During that time, I have not seen a single grinding wheel explode. And I've made some pretty heinous mistakes. I've had wheel nuts come loose. I've had wheels go screaming across the shop and into the side of a lathe, and had all kinds of mishaps with grinding wheels, but never once have I seen one explode. Now we have our disclaimer out of the way. We've explained a little bit about our history. Let's get into this. Let's break some shit. So we're going to start this out with these three victims here. I've got a approximately 1/8 wide fiber reinforced cutoff wheel. We're going to see what happens when we abuse that beyond its limits. We also have a silicon carbide wheel with a vitrified bond. Yes, this is a brand new wheel, but this wheel would be used for grinding carbide. I got it as part of a lot of grinding wheels I picked up. I have a lot of diamond wheels, so I'll never use this. So we're going to try and blow this guy up. And then I have a general purpose bench grinder wheel that is a vitrified bond, and this one is close to 1 inch thick. So we're going to go at these in this order, and we're going to see what happens. Now, we've assembled a little test rig here, and the whole idea is we're going to put a wheel on there, we're going to get it spinning, we're going to put this little ramrod into this little jig, and we're going to smash it into the wheel. And if successful, the wheels will blow apart. We have a layer of cardboard. We're going to see how much cardboard damage we get with each of these wheels, if any. Outside of that, we have a layer of aluminum. We're going to see what sort of damage we get to the aluminum, if any. And then outside of that, I have some sheets of OSB standing up against the equipment that I do care for in here. And worst case scenario, we'll get to see what kind of dent we can make in the ceiling. So let's get into this. In addition to protecting some of my grinding assets, I've also given my most prized asset a little protection as well. We very rarely use wheel guards in any of our videos, and we get a fair amount of flack about that, and that's fine. People are just doing what they've learned. Good on them, not knocking them one little bit, but we certainly don't feel the need. Now, one thing we do discuss in our videos is how we stay out of what we call the disc of death. So basically anything that is spinning, if something were to go wrong with it, it's going to blow out in the direction, any direction in this disc. Just centrifugal force is going to carry those pieces straight out from the direction of rotation. And so throughout this entire process, we're going to be very careful to stay out of the disc of death. You won't ever catch us in this zone here. We're going to be doing everything from a good distance away. I can turn my grinder on and off from a decent distance away. I'm going to be smacking the wheels from a good distance away. And of course, we're going to be recording from a good distance away. Except that camera that's up close, but it's not a human, so it'll be fine. So here we go, test number 1. Can we break this wheel? Well, we could stall the grinder out. So we roughed it up a little, and it actually, this little ramrod I have went up on top of the wheel and stalled out the motor, and in the process did this teeny bit of damage. That is far from an explosion. This thing held up really well. I was hitting it just as hard as I could. So let's get it back on there. We'll up the stakes a little and we'll try it again. To give this little test rig a little more oomph, I'm trading out my hollow 3/4 inch hollow structural steel tubing for a piece of solid 1-inch round bar. This will have a lot more weight behind it, a lot more oomph, should be more destructive. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
That sounds a little out of balance. I think we might have actually broken something. So we managed to damage this wheel quite properly. You can see there's chunks missing out of it. The entire center is now dished and starting to come apart. I do think it's super interesting to note that this thing, even though we really abused it, nothing has flown off and damaged the cardboard. If you take a look inside at the cardboard all the way around, there's zero damage, not a mark on it. I think this is a real testament to how these things are made. I mean, I was hitting that with this solid steel bar just as hard as I could, and that's what it took to damage it, and yet it still didn't fly apart. I think these things are amazing. Up next is our silicon carbide wheel. Now this has a much better chance of actually coming apart. It is not reinforced with a fiber. It's simply an abrasive held together with a vitrified bond. So I'm interested to see how this thing stands up to this kind of abuse. This definitely has the potential to be much more dramatic, I believe. I'm gonna try a couple little bumps first before I go right crazy on this thing.
Woo!
All right, definitely more dramatic. Wheel has completely disintegrated, just little bits of it everywhere. It's gone completely through the cardboard in several places. It's also done some significant damage to the aluminum in several places. Another place over here. And there's chunks of wheel scattered all over the place.
Yeah.
That's interesting. There's a piece of wheel still stuck in the cardboard.
That blew up well.
It's interesting that nothing made it through the aluminum though. I find that curious.
And also nothing came out either side. It stayed in that, what do you call it?
Disc of death.
Disc of death.
Yeah, everything is well within the disc of death. Here's what we were able to find from that last wheel. Pretty thrilling. I was pretty happy with that result. Here's our piece of cardboard. We've since replaced it. We rebuilt our whole rig here. We straightened all the dents out of the aluminum, put a new piece of cardboard in there. But this thing was pretty well trashed. It's got all these holes and tears in it. So next up is this general purpose bench grinder wheel. We're going to see how much abuse this can take. I suspect it's going to be a fair amount. This thing is about 1 inch wide and it's a finer grit. I think this wheel is going to be pretty tough. Let's see what happens. I'm going to do the same thing as last time. I'm going to start out with some kind of little small love taps and I'm going to work my way up and see what it takes to actually make this thing explode. Well, as suspected, this thing is pretty darn tough. It certainly didn't blow up, but it's running out like crazy. I hear all kinds of vibrations, so let's see what sort of damage we did. No, shaft's not bent.
Let's try again.
I don't know, honey. I mean, I'm sliding. Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna blow up. I can clamp the tabletop down. And it's something's causing vibration. There's a new vibration going on. I wish I could see it from here to see if it's running out that way, but anyways, more clamps. So that wheel actually has no damage on it from all that, and believe me, I was hitting that as hard as I could. Now, the whole tabletop was shifting as I was hitting it, and so we've clamped the tabletop down to the sawhorses. That'll add a bit more stability, put a bit more of this oomph into the wheel. Let's take another crack at it, see if we can blow this thing up.
Okay, take two. He's not going nowhere.
So this wheel just would not break. I was whacking that as hard as I could. I have everything clamped down as well as I can. I'm not terribly surprised by that because these general purpose bench grinder wheels, they're just tough as nails. And so I think we're just gonna call that a successful demonstration. The fiber reinforced wheel did about what we thought it would do. And so did the unreinforced vitrified bond silicon carbide wheel, and so did this general purpose bench grinder wheel. Well, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See you next time.